federal judge blocks Trump immigration policies nationwide in major legal blow. A dramatic courtroom battle is once again reshaping America's immigration debate. In a sweeping decision that could have nationwide consequences, a federal judge in California has blocked several key immigration enforcement policies implemented under the Trump administration, setting off fierce reactions from both supporters and critics. The ruling has reignited one of the most emotional and politically divisive issues in the country: how far the federal government should go in enforcing immigration laws, and at what cost. U.S. District Judge P. Casey Pitts issued a 71-page opinion striking down multiple policies that had significantly expanded the authority of federal immigration officials. Among the most controversial measures was a policy that allowed Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, agents to arrest migrants at immigration courthouses. For months, scenes from immigration courts across America have sparked intense debate. Individuals appearing before immigration judges, often seeking legal resolutions to their immigration cases, could suddenly find themselves taken into custody by federal agents immediately after their hearings. Supporters argued the practice was an effective way to enforce immigration laws. Critics called it intimidating, unfair, and damaging to public trust. Now, Judge Pitts says the government failed to provide a reasonable legal explanation for implementing those policies. In his ruling, Pitts wrote that ICE and immigration court officials acted arbitrarily and failed to properly justify their decisions under federal administrative law. The judge specifically challenged the government's argument that previous restrictions on courthouse arrests had been properly removed. According to the ruling, the policy was based on what Pitts described as a false premise and lacked a rational explanation for eliminating safeguards that had previously limited enforcement actions at immigration courts. But that wasn't the only policy struck down. The judge also targeted a detention policy that allowed immigration detainees to remain in custody for longer than 12 hours after arrest. According to court documents, some individuals were allegedly held overnight or even for multiple days at immigration facilities, including a detention center in San Francisco. Pitts ruled that these extended detentions violated constitutional protections, specifically citing concerns under the Fifth Amendment. The judge argued that federal officials failed to adequately consider alternatives before implementing the policy and ignored capacity issues that contributed to overcrowding and prolonged detention periods. The decision represents one of the most significant judicial setbacks for the administration's immigration enforcement strategy in recent months. Not surprisingly, reactions were immediate and intense. Immigrant advocacy groups celebrated the ruling, saying it protects vulnerable communities and restores confidence in the legal process. Many community leaders have long argued that courthouse arrests discourage immigrants from attending hearings and participating in legal proceedings out of fear of detention. Some described the ruling as a victory for due process and constitutional rights. On the other side, administration officials strongly condemned the decision. Department of Homeland Security General Counsel James Percival blasted the ruling on social media, arguing that individuals ordered removed by immigration judges should be taken into custody just as criminal defendants or after sentencing. He accused the court of engaging in what he called judicial activism and claimed the ruling undermines immigration enforcement efforts. Meanwhile, this isn't the first court to push back against courthouse arrest policies. Just last month, a federal judge in New York issued a similar ruling preventing federal agents from making immigration arrests at courthouses in Manhattan. That judge also concluded that the government's reversal of previous enforcement limits was arbitrary and lacked sufficient justification. As legal battles continue across multiple states, the future of immigration enforcement remains uncertain. For millions of Americans, this case represents far more than a legal dispute. It touches on questions of fairness, public safety, constitutional rights, and the role of federal power. Supporters of stricter immigration enforcement argue that the government must have every available tool to uphold the law. Opponents believe enforcement efforts should never come at the expense of due process and basic civil liberties. And now, with federal judges increasingly scrutinizing these policies, the national conversation is only becoming more intense. The legal fight is far from over. Appeals are expected, political tensions remain high, and immigration continues to be one of the defining issues shaping America's future. What do you think? Did the judge make the right call in blocking these policies, or should immigration authorities have broader powers to enforce the law? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And for more breaking political news, legal updates, and in-depth analysis, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an important story.